Hello. So this one is technically it's highly requested. That's why the shout out is actually going to say all of you because this has been asked for a while and I just hadn't got around to it and I decided to go ahead and knock it out today. This is just generally discussing and showing how to get UI messages to work out and do what you want in a game. So I'm finally getting to that. Here it is. And I'm just going to cover a few examples of different events that can cause it, as every event in the game can make this happen. I'm just showing you how to get specific players to be picked up by it, or all players, or things like that. Just it's a general overall. I think I mentioned it in the tutorial that it's a universal tutorial in a way that doesn't use anybody's example because there's just so many things that you can do. It would be pointless for me to try to make a video about each and every one because there's just so many and it's just so specific. But this universal way that I show you can be used in practically every script across the board, so you wouldn't need a specific video for that. So with that out of the way, I think we can go ahead and start this. Yep. You'll see that I have a few things across the map here, and these aren't anything you have to worry about. They're just here for me to use as an example to show you how that you can use different events to get the UI message to show up for a player. So you don't have to worry about these. Just if it so happens that you have one of these things going on in your map, this will just be a way for you to use a better example rather than just not seeing it in the video and just going based off of what I show. Okay, so let's start this off. And the first one I'm going to use is on AI dead. There we go. Events AI. So now that we have our events, that's all we need, because now we can go to the UI category, and the main one we're going to be starting with is push splash to player. That's what actually makes the UI message show up in the first place. You can connect that to your event, and the duration is the only thing you can change on the settings of this node by going into the node properties. I just have it set to 5 seconds. It's default, but you just want to make sure to flick it in case it doesn't have a duration and it says empty, so don't give an error. So now we need the actual message that's going to show up, like what does the message contain? And you'll see this thing called create UI message, and then you have another one, create UI message B and C. And the only difference between these three are the template and the input you can use. This one is mostly for like different words. They each have different templates too. See, this one is string 1 during string 2 string 3. So basically something like protect during enemy invasion. That's what you can have set to this, or protect the enemy invasion if that's something that so that's what you can do with one like that. This one has it's basically involving numbers. You can plug a number variable in here, or any kind of number, like the team's points. Like let's say the team has 13 points, and if you in this AI, it could give you a new point, and then this will push a message to the player saying, okay, you have this many points now, and it will update the number based on that variable and different stuff like that. So that's something you can do. And then this is the first one, and its templates are pretty simple. It allows you to plug a player into it, which, yes, that means the player's gamer tag. If you plug the player in here, and I'm going to plug it in right here, the player who did this, their gamer tag will be placed inside this UI message here. So I'm gonna name it player is the alien because why not? And all you gotta do after you get your message right here set up is you just plug your create UI message into your push splash to player in right here, just like that. And these two, you could do the same. I'm not gonna use them right now though, but you can play around with them and get what you want out of those. But now that I have this set up, it will work. Aside from this right here, I didn't do this yet. The player is right here is the player that will be seeing this. So if you only want this player who did this to see it, most nodes have a way to get the player who did the event or caused it to. It has a way for you to get it for one of these nodes. And if it doesn't, there's another way to go about it. Although it's a little harder to get an exact player if an exact player wasn't the one who initiated the event. In any case, this is what we're going to do just right now, and I'll show you how to get more players in just a moment. And we can actually just start this. Yeah, and see my gamertag showed up, and it says Zechariah J25 is the alien. So you can have it set to anything you want, like I said, and that's it for that. Now, if you want more than one player, let's say you want something to happen and all players need to see this. That's actually really easy to do, and the only thing you need to do is go to logic and then grab for each player. For each object will also work, it's just it makes sense to do it like this since you are just working with players. You'll connect that to your event. Execute per player needs to plug in the push splash to player. The player for this needs to plug it to the current player here. And the objects will be from the player categories, and it's just get all players. Or get all players on team works too if it's something that this specific team did, or so on. So you plug that into the objects here, and now the message that says my gamertag, because I'm still the one who did this. A player might be way over there and they aren't the one who did this, and I did. So it would show up and say that I'm the alien because I'm the one who did that. That's the way it's plugged in right now. Yeah, see, it still says that. So that's just a way to get the player. You could try this. Let's go ahead and plug that in here. It'll still say that, but I promise you that it's going to be very, very strange considering it's plugged in like this and it's just getting all the players, and it will basically just say your own name. No matter who you are, it'll just probably give you your own gamer tag even though you didn't do anything with this. It'll just say you are it, and you won't see anybody else's gamer tag most of the time. But anyway, that is how you get multiple players to see it. Since I've covered that, I won't cover it for the rest of the video since it's not necessary, but I'm going to keep this here. And I'm going to show you the different examples as to how to make this work. That way we don't have to just copy this. So I'm going to do this one where we walk into an area monitor, and it does it then too. Okay, now that that's set up, the object that walked in, whenever a player walks into this area, they will be the one that gets this message. We could plug the player into this again, and now it will do the same thing as when we went and cut off the grunt. Yeah, see, it says it again. But now, since I disconnected him, nothing will happen when we do that. If you want to change it to where you don't have to have a player, you can change the template to just string one. And now if I walk into the, let's go ahead and unplug that actually, unplug that player right here. Now we can just walk into this and it will just say the word alien. It doesn't require a player's input since it doesn't use that in the template, see? So that's how you do that, but you can still plug the player in like I showed you right here. And now let's get rid of this. Let's do the next one, which is the generic ball. Okay, here we are again. And same thing, acquiring player is the one that sees it. And you can plug in the player that picked it up into this right here. So you can do that, or like I showed earlier, you can use get each player, or get every player in the game, and then they will end up seeing the message that this player is the one who picked up the ball. Well, let's go ahead and try this one out. When I pick it up, it should do it. Yeah, see? Perfect. And it will do it again if I go to pick that ball up again. Oh, okay. Now, and see there, it's popping up again. So those are just some examples. There are a ton of different events that you can use to make this happen. They practically all do it. Like on a wave start, if you have a firefight going on any wave start, or on wave start or on wave end. You can make it show to, see, you'll notice that this one doesn't have a way to get a specific player, in which case you would have to figure out some other way of getting the player, like get all the area or all the objects in an area monitor and only push it to those players in that area monitor, or some way of getting the player, and there's tons of ways to do it, or just send it to all the players or a group of players that's defined in the players category. But any event really works to make one of these show up. And that's about it for those. I'm going to cover this last bit right here called set player or set objective banner for player. Wow, why was that so hard to say? It's very similar to push splash to player. Let's go ahead and delete that. The only difference is how it looks. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in the message, because you'll plug in the message the same way that you would for the push splash to player. On this one, I'm just going to do on player spawned. There we go. The player that sees it is the player that spawned. Make sure that it is set to true for enabled. And what you'll notice right now is when we start, down there at the bottom, right above the time, it says alien. That's what the objective banner is, and it stays down there at the bottom of the screen. It doesn't go away unless you disable it by doing this again. And then just going enabled to false. So you would have to just set like a timer. Let's move this over here. That's the only way to make it act like the UI splash message, is by adding a little delay in here. Set it to 2 seconds. And then whenever after 2 seconds passes, it will then disable this right here. It will disable it, so that way you no longer see it. All right, we see it down there, and it's gone, just like that. So that should just about cover it for UI nav messages and how to get them to work and everything. So there's a whole world of possibilities with this. It is a shame that most of them, or all of the messages, are pre-made strings you can use. I remember on Doom Snap Map you could type whatever in this scenario and it would work. You can't do that here, but that's pretty much the only limitation. You can kind of make a UI message for just about anything, and you can use anything in the game to trigger them. And you can generally find the player that you need to plug into this at some point throughout your game. So, well, that should just about do it. Hopefully I didn't ramble on too much, and I was to the point when I needed to be. And as you could tell, it was definitely a universal type tutorial rather than a specific, because of the reasons I said. And hopefully it covered what you needed. And as always, if you need specific help, there's always the Discord, and there's the comment section, which is how we kind of arrive at some conclusions about things, and if needed, an entire video to explain something that just would help everyone. So with nothing else to talk about, I think that should be just about it, and I'll see you guys on the next one.